Hello there, everybody. This is King Mac, your friendly hamburger pal. Welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. Be sure to enjoy a hot, fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden French fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Thank you all for watching, and now sit back and relax and enjoy as Tony here brings you our feature presentation of TTBurger game reviews.
Boo! 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 Hello everybody! Welcome back. You are watching TTBurger Game Reviews here on YouTube, and I'm your host Tony. As we're continuing with the horror themed game reviews here to continue celebrating Halloween. I know we're in the month of November now, but I said they would continue, and we're continuing here. Welcome to another episode of TTBurger Remastered Game Review. We continue with the remastered series of my Resident Evil series review, episode 7, and we are on part 4 of 7 parts. That's right, 7 parts. Now, those of you who are confused, wondering what do you mean by TTBurger Remastered Game Review? Well, this is what it is. I redo some of my older reviews and redo them remastered style, cause like, you know, remastered, like better camera, better quality and stuff like that, and to match the way I do my videos today. And that's why it's called Remastered Game Review, kind of remastering my older videos in a different form and stuff. That's what it is. Before I get started, I want to shout out to Freaking HD and Sub-Zero Time and Next for the work on King Mac, along with the Step at the Hydrolamnia, Brickville Still Stateside, Black Healer, Meg, the Homie RJ, Uncle G-Round, the Sensational Gent, Red Hood Assassin, the Rush Pool 69, and Paul Gaming, and more. And before we can even get started here, as we continue with the final final game in the original Resident Evil storyline and the PlayStation stuff, let's go down to Seattle and see how our friend Jackalburger is doing. Hey Jack, what's shaking bacon today down in the heart of Seattle?
Tony, I'm here. I'm excited. Jill Valentine is the next Resident Evil. Ooh, I cannot wait to get the review.
Dude, are you okay? You're acting a little weird over a video game character.
But Tony, I'm excited. I have been looking forward to this the last few days. Sitting here, guarding the pumpkins, and my pumpkin patch is making wait for longer and longer. I'm ready for Resident Evil 3, Nemesis starring Catherine T-shirt as Jill Valentine.
Dude, relax. I will get to it in a second. But we need to show what happened in the last episode in case people missed it and such.
Okay, Tony, take it away. Get the recap going.
Well, as we get to start, here's a little TTBurger recap to show you what you missed in episode 7 of my remastered game reviews, part 3 of 7. Take a look at Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation. I looked at the PlayStation version, gave it a 9.5 out of 10 because it was a fantastic game overall and stuff like that. Better than its predecessor and stuff. But there were a couple of minor issues I have with it, but still a game that should not be overlooked. It was released for the PlayStation, the PC, the Sega Dreamcast, the Nintendo 64, and the GameCube. And I recommend picking up the PlayStation version because it is the original when the console was on, and I just recommend that the most because, you know, you can't go wrong there. I mean, I know the Dreamcast version, the GameCube version have better graphics, the PC version it looks good too, but it's hard to run on modern PCs, and it's 4 version with all compressed and stuff like that. But it's your decision on which version you get, and that's basically how it goes there. But today we're gonna zoom ahead to the year 1999. This was like when I was in 5th grade. I was 11 years old, and the PlayStation was still popping and kicking. And this was the last Resident Evil game on the PlayStation, not counting that awful Resident Evil Gun Survivor console. Because we know that game was garbage and that, so we don't count that. But we can count this one though. This is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, also known as Biohazard 3: The Last Escape in Japan. It was released on November 11th, 1999 for PlayStation, November 17th, 2000 for the Sega Dreamcast, April 4th, 2021 for the PC, and January 15th, 2003 for the Nintendo GameCube. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, in my opinion, is the best Resident Evil game ever made. Everything that made the first two games great, and they put them in this game and made it even better. We have, in my opinion, a game that's so good it cannot get any better than this. I remember playing the demo first when I got Down Crisis, and being a fan of the first two games, I knew this game was going to be a blast. And it was a way to wrap up the PlayStation era of the Resident Evil indeed. You see, this game was supposed to be a spin-off, with a random person trying to survive the outbreak in Raccoon City, but due to the idea of being done to death, we got a sequel to the second game, and it was a success. Now, a lot of people hated this game because, you know, like, oh, you only play as one character and stuff, and, you know, like, it takes place during, before, and after Resident Evil 2, so that's not like a fully fledged sequel to that, blah 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 and everything. A lot of people were nitpicking for the dumbest mystery reasons ever started out, and, you know, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is definitely a success. We actually play as Jill Valentine again, my favorite character in the Resident Evil franchise there, and that was a big plus for sure. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis takes place before, during, and after Resident Evil 2. Once again, we go back to Raccoon City where we play as Jill Valentine, who stayed behind in Raccoon City after Chris left for Europe to take down Umbrella's headquarters, and Barry moved his family to Canada, but joins Chris later on. Jill stays behind in Raccoon City because she knows the Umbrella research facility in Raccoon City is important to the case. The entire city has been infected with the T-virus and becomes zombie and infested and stuff, and the city's pretty much in ruin. Buildings are boarded up or destroyed, wrecked cars are blocking roads and everywhere and stuff like that, and there's buildings on fire everywhere, and it is a mess. Jill starts off in the uptown area after escaping from her apartment after being infested with zombies and stuff, and Jill just like runs into this office and stuff and meets Dario Russo, who locks himself into a canary after losing his family and everything. And she runs into Brad Vickers at this bar, who was a helicopter pilot of S.T.A.R.S. Alpha Team, who the one who they were sailing to that cat that rescued them from the mansion before it blew up and stuff. They make haste to the Raccoon City Police Department, where Brad is killed by a new BOW created by Umbrella Europe called Nemesis, who kills Brad and now wants to hunt Jill down, as she's the only remaining S.T.A.R.S. member in Raccoon City. He hunts her in the police station, the streets, the downtown area, and more and more and more. And he wants her dead. Nemesis wants her dead, and the only word he can say is S.T.A.R.S, S.T.A.R.S. Like he is after S.T.A.R.S. And yeah. Along the way, Joe runs into Carlos Oliveira, a corporal of Umbrella and Biohazard Countermeasure Service, who are mercenaries hired by Umbrella to save civilians. Joe does not trust Carl at first because Umbrella sent them, and Umbrella is the reason why the whole mess began with the T-virus and the G-virus and stuff. But later, when she runs into Sergeant Nikolai Zinoviev and Lieutenant Mikhail Victor, who's badly injured, she begins to trust them and stuff. Their plan is to move to the clock tower area and call the destruction topper by ringing the clock tower bells and escape, which unfortunately does not happen, so Joel must defend herself and escape Raccoon City before it's too late. The story is very deep, and it serves as a wrap up to the Raccoon City era of Resident Evil, working very well, especially since Jill is the main character. She's my favorite Resident Evil character and stuff of all time. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis has some fantastic and sharp looking graphics, even better than the graphics of Resident Evil 2. And this game is so good, it almost makes me think it's a PS2 game. The character models, especially Jill's character model, have a lot of detail to them. At the time, they almost look like real people. Sure, the mouths don't move, so that they just around while the voice are replaced to that, but this was cutting edge for its time, and we have to respect and appreciate it for what it was. The enemy models have big variety to them, different looking zombie models. Yeah, you have male and female zombies once again. You have these things called lickers. You got giant web spinners, and we have the return of the hunters from the first game, and they're not as annoying this time. They have a variety of color, either red or blue, along with those Cerberus dogs and more. The only problem is the lack of bosses. I mean, Resident Evil 2 had this issue too, but you know, there's only 2 bosses. Nemesis and the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger is this creature you fight twice, and Nemesis is what you fight throughout the game. He's out to get Jill and everything. But that's just me. The environments are very crisp and detailed. The lighting has been tweaked a little bit to make it a little more scary. It's still a little bright, but it's not as bad as last time. You even go to the police station, like I mentioned, the precinct, for a small part of the game. It's nice to revisit this place with Jill, but you can't really visit the whole thing because a lot of the doors have been boarded up and stuff. And this is kind of weird because this part takes place before Resident Evil 2, like the beginning part, and it's all boarded up. Like, how the hell did they have time to unboard all those doors and stuff and get rid of all those barriers? I'll never know. You have the uptown area and the downtown area, which feel like you're trying to survive with no shelter or anything. Like, you see everything in ruin and stuff. And you have the clock tower, which basically serves as like the game's mansion, where the second half of the game takes place. You have the hospital where you play as Carlos. You have the park, the graveyard, the cabin, and and more and more and more. There's a big variety, and I like how most of the game takes place outside on the streets, not in like one building or so, like the last two games. And it makes you feel like that, like this shit is real. Like the town isn't desolate and stuff like that. The doors into here once again and they are faster as well, and there's a big variety of both new and old doors, which make the doors just more enjoyable. But however, with some of the wooden doors, they recycled the door sound for Resident Evil 1 for most of them. Like there's like this one door that was in Resident Evil 2 had a different sound, but here they brought back the original wooden door sound for that door. It's kind of it's weird and stuff. I know it's weird, but you know what I mean. The CG cutscenes, however, are the worst part of the graphics. Sure, they look good, but the frame rate is low in them at 15 frames per second. If you look at the ones in Resident Evil 2, they had a better frame rate, but just the frame just makes it look a little grainy. So that, I mean, like the Nintendo GameCube version kind of fixed us up there, but like would made the frame rate better. But the other versions, yeah, you're not really gonna really like how the frame rate turned out. But they still look great to see. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis sound is also well done. The music is awesome, the best music ever in a Resident Evil game. Sure, some of the audio tracks sound a little like action horror, but they sound better than they did in Resident Evil 2, especially the track called City in Ruins, which plays after you find Brad and escape the bar. It makes you feel like you are trapped and stuff and everything. And also like the sound of the music they use in the clock tower and the hospital, and at the end with the Dead Factory and stuff too. Like a lot of the music is good, and like just in downtown as well. It's like it makes you think that something's gonna happen. But my favorite track in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is Free From Fear, which is the save room theme. It's, in my opinion, the best save room theme out of the entire Resident Evil series. And just it makes you feel like, yay, I'm free, I can relax and stuff. The voice acting is also top-notch, better than last time, mainly from Catherine Disher, who voices Jill Valentine, along with Vicky Carrado, who voices Carlos, and Ben Campbell, who voices Mikhail, and Roger Hamer, who voices Nikolai and stuff. The voice acting is fantastic, even though some of the characters you can tell the actors on Mikhail and Nikolai are not the best and sound a little kind of hokey a little bit there, but still a job well done. The main improvement of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is the gameplay, and I mean, what a big improvement. Like I mentioned, you play as Jill in her goal to escape Raccoon City. Jill has some cool moves like a 360-degree turn around to help dodge enemies, and she has this dodge feature where if you press the button at the right time, Jill can push the enemy means away from her, or she can do a roll, giving her a chance to survive longer. Jill has tons of weapons type like an assault rifle, a grenade launcher, a shotgun, magnum, mine thrower, Gatling gun, got her trusty rocket launcher, which looks like the rocket launcher from the first game, and when you're playing in hard mode, Jill can find weapon parts to get herself like some more powerful guns, like the Eagle 6.0, which is like a very powerful weapon, handgun and stuff. And Jill also has this reloading tool where she can make her own ammo using gunpowder she finds throughout the game. Like gunpowder A can make handgun bullets, gunpowder B can make shotgun shells, combine them together like to make grenade rounds. You can also combine the gunpowder with grenade rounds to add like make flame rounds, acid rounds, freeze rounds, and more. Freeze rounds will be good to use against Nemesis because little spoiler here, that's what he's the weakest against. And you can also make magnum rounds too, and just a very nice feature to have and define towards survival. And another new feature is what they call live selection, where in Resident 3 Nemesis you have choice selection where you must make live selection, like for example, certain parts you're allowed to pick from 2 selections to continue the game, and it alters the story a little bit there. Like the first selection is when Jill meets Nemesis outside the precinct. You have the option to fight Nemesis or to enter the police station. If you fight the monster and now you're playing hard mode, you can get some weapon parts and stuff, which make you feel accomplished there. And like you don't have to worry about like hearing like him trying to bang the door down or something like that and everything. And some people are gonna try and run away from Nemesis, while others are gonna try and fight him and stuff, because they say sometimes it's smarter to run than to fight, but sometimes it's smarter to fight than to run. These live selections can also affect which ending you get or certain outcomes in your game. But you have to be fast, you're only given a limited amount of time to pick your decision, so choose wisely. You have 2 endings and stuff, and I'm not going to tell you how to get them, so yeah. You can take down multiple enemies by shooting gas cans near them and blowing them up, and it definitely saves ammo. The puzzles are challenging. Some puzzles have different solutions each time you play, adding more fun factor to it. Resident Evil 3 also has some random jump scares with enemies busting through doors or walls or breaking or busting through windows, stuff like that, more so than this game. And also this the ruined city, like the game feels alive. You have people running away and shooting enemies like that before they get killed. It's just like it's really cool that they would do this. It just adds to like the horror factor. And this is the first Resident Evil game where you do not have to press the X button to go up or down staircases. Sure, some of them have load times, but that's like only count 3 of them. This is a very nice feature as well, because you're trying to run away from an enemy, you have to stop to press X to go up or something like that. It just wastes precious seconds sometimes. And getting all the mail files in order, a certain way you have to do it in a certain order it comes to, it will give you Jill's diary. She explains she can go on the last 2 months, right? See why she stayed behind. After you beat Resident Evil Nemesis, you'll give an epilogue file that shows what happens to the main characters after the events of the game. And you have a mode called Mercenaries Operation Mad Jackal. This is unlocked after you beat the game. You play as Carl, Hal, and Nikolai, rushing to the uptown warehouse while finding enemies, rescuing survivors with money, and dispose of the bomb planted inside you to survive. With enough money, you can unlock some cool shit like infinite ammo for your assault rifle, you get a Gatling gun, rocket launcher, or infinite ammo for all weapons there. You can also play as Carlos later in the game after an incident leaves Jill unplayable for a small part of the game when he goes to the hospital and stuff. And Carlos has an assault rifle and a mercenary hanging that is strong. There are, like I said, there are 2 endings which I found out how to get them because I'm not spoiling them and stuff like that. A lot of people did not like this game because there was only 1 disc and you may only play as 1 character and stuff and a big joy and stuff. But I think people were just being very nitpicky here. I mean, I know Resident Evil 2 was successful, you had 2 characters, stuff, and other things, but Resident Evil 3 was better and stuff. And I want to take a little time to talk about the ports here, like last time. For me, like once again, the best version to play is the PlayStation version, because I know it's just got like the graphics can look a little bit pixelated and stuff, but it was the power of the PlayStation for sure. The Dreamcast version and stuff like that is like has a little bit of smoother graphics there, but they have some changed sounds in some door scenes like that. Like for example, the save room in the hospital, it makes a different sound and stuff, and and the load times just seem a little bit slower there. The PC version, I don't know much about, so I've heard it's got like some white tint on like the CG cutscenes like that, and like those 3 have like the frame rate at 15 per second in the CG cutscenes. And the Nintendo GameCube version looks the best, but charging it at full price like that and slightly better graphics like that and such, just I would have to skip on that one. So whatever version you play, you're gonna be in for a treat here, but I recommend picking up the PlayStation version. You also have some extra costumes here as well, like you can play as Regina from Down Crisis, or you can choose Jill's original costume, or you can a spy costume, or a graduation costume, or like this formal costume. And the Dreamcast version had like 8 costumes, but they're all unlocked from the start, which is it just kind of seems affected there. And Regina's costume, if you play the Regina from Down Crisis, you can tell it's kind of like Jill's face there, but still it's not really a big issue there at all. And this was a fun game and stuff, but now we got the negatives. The frame rate in the cutscenes in the FMV CG scenes are 15 frames per second, just looks awful. Some of the puzzles are overly difficult, mainly the water sample puzzle in the Dead Factory. It changes each time and adds challenge to it, but without a guidebook, it is very, very hard. It's like a game of trial and error or a game of guess who. There's not a big variety in the bosses, and there's too many buildings that you go to, they either blow up or they're on fire, which I understand with City Ruin, but they get a little overboard there, because like some of the buildings have like doors exclusive to those buildings, and this is talking about before the ending where it blows up and everything. And there are times where Nemesis can kill you quickly if you're not careful. He'll like block your path trying to escape, and you're fucked if you don't have the right ammo and stuff. And if you did not play the other 2 games, you'll be missing a lot of the story. But those are the only points I have though. Final thoughts: if you enjoyed the first 2 Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is definitely the go-to for sure, and definitely makes everything better than last time, and definitely the perfect Resident Evil game for sure. I'm giving it a perfect 10 out of 10, because those problems they had there, but it doesn't really take off any points there. The perfect 10 out of 10 for sure. No matter which version you pick up, it's awesome for sure. Jack, you still with us? What did you think of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis?
Tony, that was awesome, man. I love that game. Jill Valentine is awesome. You should have said that. Why didn't you not say that? We had an awesome game. You, Tony. Yahoo!
Somebody's a little excited there. Yeah, it was the best Resident Evil game ever made. It wrapped up the Raccoon City trilogy, even though there was more to come.
That's right, Tony. You got it. I can't say enough about Jill Valentine. He's awesome. He's an awesome character. So what's next on the agenda? What's up into the PlayStation 2 era Resident Evil As this next game was a part of Dreamcast game, and this was supposed to be the real Resident Evil 3 with clear red field, and tell us what happens next.
That's right, Jack. We go to the PlayStation 2 era of Resident Evil, where we take a look at Resident Evil Code Veronica X, which started off on the Dreamcast system as Code Veronica, and then they ported it to like a PlayStation 2 and kind of GameCube and stuff like that. And it's the first game that's not PlayStation 2 from activity was on Rockford Island after the event of Rockford Day. And how does the game fare? We'll find out in Part 5. If it's all I gotta say for Episode 7, Part 4 of my remastered game reviews, it's Tony, peace out, have a good day, and see you all in my review of Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Take care, everybody.